Let's discuss the problem of politicians drawing distinctions between the quote good immigrants and those that they're going to call criminals and thugs. What is it's talk about how deeply problematic that is.
So this is a really kind of age-old trope, this kind of false binary between deserving and undeserving person, between the good immigrant and the bad immigrant, between the innocent child and the law-breaking parent. Ultimately, these as I mentioned before, these are false binaries that don't reflect the reality and the complexity of contemporary immigration. So if we look back 15 years ago, the Federal DREAM Act was introduced in 2001, and the DREAM Act really kind of put forward this kind of one-dimensional caricature of this young innocent child who had come to the U.S. through no fault of her or his own, had played by the rules, had done really well in school. These were images of valedictorians, of class presidents, of high achievers and model citizens. But many of my respondents during this time, they fit into this kind of they fit into this mold. They fit into this image of this kind of young, innocent child who had done well in school, despite insurmountable barriers. But in 2016, many of the young people that I've been following are now in their early 30s. Many of them, over time, have been beaten down by low-wage work. Their hands now bear calluses. They have joint aches in their hands. Their knees ache. Their backs ache, and they more resemble the kind of general pool of undocumented immigrant workers. And so to draw these lines really assumes that people stay in one place, that the life is static and not fluid. And we know just the opposite is true. And for these young people, over time, as they must contend with the reality of living this undocumented life, many of them take a lot of bumps and bruises along the way that really kind of steer them away from a reality that they once lived as 16-year-olds, as 17-year-olds.
What are in your opinion, I guess sort of the biggest things that say, I don't know, well-meaning progressive people are missing about the struggle of immigrants? What's the thing that they may, be like, oh yeah, we should have a path to citizenship. What is something that maybe they're missing?
Well, I think that one of the biggest surprises of this study for me, when I started this study, I had a set of kind of broad sociological questions around educational attainment, around social and economic mobility and assimilation. And what I didn't expect to find, but what I found to the person of those I interviewed and then ultimately spent several years following, was that the young people in my study, these young people who grow up without immigration status, were suffering from mental and emotional manifestations of stress. That is, being undocumented is bad for one's health. And so the young people that I talked to described chronic headaches, toothaches, ulcers, trouble sleeping, problems getting out of bed in the morning, eating problems, thoughts of suicide, attempted suicide. So this is an issue that many well-meaning people debate at the kind of 30,000-foot level. many progressives and many lawmakers, will tell you that change takes time. That any kind of policy making is incremental. But these realities don't square, these ideas don't square with the everyday lives of young people and their families growing up and living in the shadows.